Go ahead.
And good morning, ladies and gentlemen, or more so, good evening. We have a big match on our hands tonight. We have um, I don't even know who we have. We have the Sydney Seadragons versus the Purple Apes, the 4 versus the 5 seed. And I think we all sort of expected this matchup to happen when we figured out the tournament rule that you could pick your teams. You know, we knew that these two teams are going to go up against each other no matter what the case was, and I think this is a very dynamic match. I know that in the regular season, the Sydney Seadragons took it over the Purple Apes 3-1, but I could easily see some upsets. I could easily see some big switches happening at any point in time as, whoops, let me, I think it's this one.
5, 4, 3,
That looks close enough. We'll call it good. Alrighty, and let us commence here. As start off, and I think this is exactly what we expected to see. The Amalgam meta very prevalent for both of these teams. We know they've been practicing, know we've been studying it, and it's really going to be a battle of who can survive more. I know Capri's been very proficient on the Amalgam. It's actually going to be Panini that's found in the first pick via Melon, and a big slam tries to come in, gets canceled out, but Sonic Chronic's going to be there with the damage, an explosion of it for the Sydney Seadragons. They're going to be able to quickly gain this first cap. It looks like, I don't know, stylistically, I'd say there's a somewhat difference in composition here. Having the Genji, there's not really much to pressure out on the high ground compared, or having the Genji, you're not really able to pressure out the flying targets compared to, of course, say the Echo. But also, if the side of the, if the side of the Seadragons can close the distance and really get value from those dashes, that's be massive. And then now we have Sanami TPing in. A big slam comes in from Capri Woven, and again, an explosion of damage comes through. It's who can sustain better throughout the massive damage, and this time Panini is going to fall again. Melon's still surviving and even thriving in the fight, and the Silvertall's ult does come in first, even though Juno had that reduction in ult percentage, still able to get it online. Doesn't really matter though, mitigated by the copy coming out from Firecarter, and finally Melon is shut down in this fight. Silvertall is doing his best to keep the rest of the team up, but it seems to be a losing battle as the point has already flipped over too. So we talk about losing battles. I mean, you already lost the battle here if you're the Seadragons. Luckily, they will be able to fight back into this. But here, my audio is low, so let me fix that real quick. There you go. That should be a bit better. Cage fight comes in from Capri Woven, a responding one there from Melon as well. And you combo in the Death Blossom there, but Sanami just gets shut down by the deflect from Sonic Chronic. Silvertall is doing a great job of really fighting through this, and now Sonic very close to the ultimate. The Blade wants to get it online here and fight back through the point. The big progress has been made, but you need to finish up these kills if you want it, and looks like the Blade's not even going to be able to, need to be invested as Saykonik does come up with 2 here. Sonictronix trying to get a 3rd for his trouble. Sanami doing a great job of contesting his point though. I feel like the Seadragons have been winning the fight, but the side of the Purple Apes have been doing a great job of extending the percent on the points. They really know how to play this composition to its benefits. Now looking at Panini has a very tall task ahead of him. You know, fight back against this Reaper, against this Genji here. The Genji has Blade on the cards, but the dupe is on the cards as well. Sonic Chronic immediately deletes, goes for the duplication of Firecarter next, and he's going to be able to slash that one down too. A clean fight win here for the Seadragons. And Caprirovan just forced to jump off, so the Seadragons finally taking the lead in terms of percent, but still an extraordinarily back and forth affair on both sides. And now if you're the Seadragons, you have full support ult on the card. Honestly, right now the Apes really need to focus on getting this orbital ray up for Mardox here. That's the only thing they can respond with. And Silvertall is going to be able to go first. Also hit big torpedoes. Responding orbital ray here comes out from Mardox, but feels like it might be too little too late as Panini and Caprirovan already get deleted down. Marduk's trying to find a trade here, but Corey comes in with the explosion of damage. That Death Blossom does a lot, and I don't think, even with Panini on the Lucio swap, a touch will be had as everybody gets booped, bash, and sent back on the first point. And if you're just joining us now, first of all, how's my audio? Is it a bit better? Hopefully it is. Secondly, hope you all having a great day. This is the Sydney Seadragons versus the Purple Apes. Playoffs are, I guess ending the quarterfinals, and we'll have to see what these teams are opting to look for differently. Sanemi potentially considering the swap over onto the Ashe. I was actually thinking about this. This is a really profound Aurora thought. I was thinking about this on the car ride home. It feels like the Ashe really answers a lot of the sort of things that the Mauga comp is trying to do, because it has that like explosion of damage with the dynamite, and it can really keep range. So I think it's going to be all about how you execute this comp. The only, I guess, issue is that now you're switching the comp completely. You're going onto the Diva, you're going on to the Tracer. You're fighting for a lot more of that like backline pressure. We'll see if Melon and the rest of the Seadragons can really deal with that here, as Corey looks for a TP up onto that high ground. Immediately moved back from Panini. Some nice zoning out there, and Caprirovan actually finds an early kill. So early start for the Seadragons. They're looking for the cap on the point, but a fight already starting down there as Sonictronic looking to take this high ground. Sonic's really been a nuisance in the side of the Purple Apes, and Point, as of right now, still hasn't capped through. Melon just has all the survivability in the world, as Caprirovan looking for a quick rotation. Sanemi gets blown up from distance, and it feels like another fight that Purple Apes are kind of slated to win goes fully in favor of the Sydney Seadragons. We had some more audio feedback. Let me do this. Spoiler alert, I'm actually not buffing my audio. I'm only turning down the stream audio. It's crazy. Nice leap comes in onto Corey. Marduk's gets that assassination right there. But Capirovan's sustaining a lot of damage in these fights, and unfortunately gets moved off the map again. But the Purple Apes are still going to opt to invest into this fight. Panini has a nano on him, but it's not going to pan out to anything. Sanemi's hitting shots though, okay. So even though they might have lost the fight, Sanemi's still picking up one for their troubles. The issue is they're not able to use these ults effectively right now. Another hit comes in, but unfortunately it's going to be a trade. Marduk goes down, and in this situation, I feel like losing your Ana is a lot more detrimental than losing your Genji, especially one that can get back a lot quicker with these dashes. Caprirovan looking for reposition for herself onto the high ground, wants to put pressure on Silvertalls, who sort of throughout this entire match has been unpunished. Now Seikana gets a bit of pressure on themselves as well, but Melon's in there fighting back against the Bob. Norbital ran the point also. The Purple Apes just opting to sort of bait out these ultimates, wait for this final contestation here. The Caprirovan position already exposed a bit. A nice anti-nade though. That's gonna deny a lot of stuff, but Corey comes in with, actually Sonictronic is gonna be the one coming in with this blade here, and Pix now going in favor. Caprirovan is gonna drop the bomb in here. That's gonna catch Melon, but is that gonna be enough? Sanemi really needs to start finding these kills, and that's exactly what they're gonna do. But throughout all this, Marduk's getting so much punishment, and a nice sleep there from Marduk's. Shutting down the DPS of the Seadragons and keeping this still a winnable affair for the Purple Apes. But it's a question of, did they invest sort of too much into this fight? Obviously, with this Ashe Echo composition, it's going to benefit a lot from being able to set up around points to make these big rotations, but when you have a Mauga that's just full HP, speed ringed in, immortal as they go to touch the point, what can you kind of do against that? I guess an anti-nade is going to be the answer, but Sonictronic seems to be the answer for Firecarter in this fight. Nano comes in to try and keep Caprirovan alive on the point, but the sustainability is there. The rally from Seikana. Trade's going both ways though, as Panini gets on a Chronic, then falls down on the point. Caprirovan needs to find the sustainability, and she hasn't gotten it just yet. A bomb near the back of the point to try and fend off eliminations, and Mardox again with these sleeps. He's so proficient with those. And even though the point flips over, you know, cleaning up these sleeps is massive. Again, like, it's just a question of, like, you know, I mean, yeah, low-key winnable. It is so low-key winnable, but I don't know. It just feels like they're having to invest so much each fight. But, I mean, I guess if the other team doesn't have anything to invest back in, that's fine. It's getting very close every time, and it looks like the Seadragons sticking to the bread and bubble. A speed ring straight to point. Well, Caprirovan and the rest of the Purple Ape trying to take angles. The point flips again, and you have to come back in and fight onto this. And this time it's a lot more scrappy, and this time it's a lot more in favor of the Sydney Seadragons. Mardox cannot be the hero in a 1v5, and the Seadragons are going to pick up the first map in Ilios.
Play of the game.
And I will say, as we get to watch this second up play of the game,
Both teams look like they've put in a lot of practice into this Mauga count. That's exactly what we expected when we thought about this match. It's just a question of, you know, who can play these counters a lot better, who can keep putting in the damage, putting in the work, and end up winning. I felt like the Diva swap, I mean, Caprirovan, I feel like is, from what I know, talked about as such a good Mauga. I would have kind of rather liked them to switch with the Mauga, stick with the Mauga there. I don't know though. This is just gold logic here. But we are gonna head to a very quick break on the stream though, so we will be right back with more Aurora Esports action. Bye bye.
Initiating match.
And welcome back everybody to the very contentious map between the Sydney Seadragons and the Purple Apes. And just looking at these compositions, something tells me, something's, I guess, you know, I don't know if it's just like my main support intuition inside of me or my 200 IQ-ness, but something tells me that Seikano will not be staying the Mercy, even though I want to see it. I'm a Mercy believer, but something tells me that's not the meta. Either way, we have Watchpoint Gibraltar as our selection for this second map. Tommy Slat coming in as well as Tanic B, so a bit of, you know, differences in both the map we're choosing and the style we want to play here. We're gonna see some Diva versus Hog, and Hog immediately gets anti and put in a very precarious position. The Suzu unfortunately is gonna miss there, and I think the early idea was just deploy just a little bait and switch, as the kids these days say. And it looks like we're going back over onto this Winston versus Winston mirror. I like the decision from the Seadragons to at least starting the attack. They're able to control the pace, and a very nice anti-nade hits, I guess, both back lines. Mardox hits one of his own, and Melon's putting down a lot of pressure, but trades are going to be there. And I think the differences stylistically about this comp is the Purple Apes are going to try to play the range, well, the Sydney Seadragons are going to really try to force being in the face of the opponent. Tommy Slack being traded early is going to be a big problem because that leaves only Fire Carter as the only person that can really stay down here and contest the payload. And even though he is known as a very prolific DPS, cannot be a one-man army in any regard. Needs to get some help out here from Sandemy, who finds a big pick on to the Brig. Fire Carter and Tommy now putting down a lot of backline pressure. And speaking about armies, the big cavalry's here. Tommy Slat's back, and Fire Carter putting in work very close to this pulse bomb already, as well as Mardox, who is closing in on the Nano Blade. We'll have to see how both these players use that in the upcoming fight. You definitely want to see them go quick with it. Yeah. The Nano's gonna come in onto Tommy here, pushing towards the back line in combination with the pulse. You can tell that Tommy really wants to punish onto this, but realizes he has an even juicier target in the back line, kind of punishing his own Widow, so you gotta make sure you trade that out every time. And this is some really great defense from the Purple Apes right now. I feel like they have this locked down to a T, but a lot of big ults coming up online for the Sydney Seadragons. I'm looking at Melon, I'm looking at Tanic B here. The duplication and the Primal gonna come in massive, and with a nice anti onto Tommy. Actually, maybe it's not even gonna matter when Silvertall is traded out. It feels like the support lines for the Seadragons are not getting the sustainability they need. Tommy Slat also opting to use the Primal Rage. I think that, I don't know if that was a misclick or something. I mean, I feel like that fight would have definitely been winnable without it, but they do manage to get another fight win, and now they have this sort of alt rotation going that is very favorable. If they can find a big punishment here, they'll enter last fight territory in a very appealing spot. Oh, and another nice... These antis from Mardox are just beautiful. And Tommy is just feasting right now. Sure, he goes down, right? We still have so much pressure on the back line. You leave Melon on a complete island. He's forced to Primal Rage in this spot. And as he's found the target he needs, Mardox is going to fall. But you still have a long way to push this card if you want to achieve the second part. Good job splitting out Panini, but the sustainability is already going to be there. Sanemi gets staggered here a bit, which is good. And you have 4 ultimates for the Sydney Seadragons. If you don't close this one out here, you've got to think it's a blunder in at least some regard on the map. But as Tommy stages to dive in here, it's going to be a question of what ultimates are going to be used, and I think it's going to be everything in the kitchen sink that they can drop. The duplication is going to be there. Melon fighting on the cart, and a nice cleanup. I'm very glad they held on to that Dragon Blade, though. That's going to be a very key ultimate, pushing, taking the space up on Spaceship and getting punishment on specifically Panini and Mardox in the back line. And Marduk's now gonna build up 2 Nano for himself. Little bit of a sort of snipe off, and it looks like Melon's gonna win that against Tommy Slat here, and also get himself a very nice engagement onto the backline, taking a ton of space away, denying almost everything that the Purple Apes can do. It feels like the Sydney Seadragons have really found pace for himself, and throughout this entire time able to keep 1 to 2 people onto the cart. Tommy's gonna look to contest this point, but I don't know if it's a winnable situation, especially when you have so many big ultimates. Another nice anti from Silvertal's too, showing while the Sydney Seadragons are definitely still here to fight, even on the map pick of the Purple Apes. Tommy doing a great job of holding on, I will say, but I do not think that's going to be enough. And the time bank, usually, you know, on escort maps, you see it decrease, but it feels like it's increasing right now. Sanemi is going to swap over onto the Ashe, maybe have a bit more sustainability against the Winston. Nano comes in onto Tommy. Was also going to be on the other side of things. Melon with the Primal Rage just getting juggle work and having Canopy completely profit off of it. Tommy tries to peel at this point in time, but there seems to be now somewhat of a disconnect from the push and pull that the Apes were able to control so well through the start of the match. Now it feels discombobulated, disjointed, and to put it lightly, just completely awkward. And they're still pushing the pace. The Seadragons, Sonic Chronic, the dash reset onto Panini, and Melon just feasting on the point. I think the Seadragons have realized, you know, we just target Marduk, we just target Sanemi and Panini, and good things happen, and good things are happening right now. Marduk does not have a sustainability that he needs to stay in. Granted, decent damage done to the time bank, but definitely not what you're looking for
Score.
if you are the Purple Apes
Switching
with that
sides.
contest.
Initiating match.
Now, Purple Apes sort of need to find a solution of their own. The strategy that was working so well for them at the start sort of falls to pieces at the end. I'm also interested to see what swaps, what transitions the Seadragons opt to take. And it looks like they're just going to stick with what worked. I do feel like their composition is going to be more attacker-sided. So I really want to see them push the pace, go for those big anti-nades, go for those big plays, and push aggression with their ultimates. The Purple Apes also sticking to what has worked for them,
Do pilots usually get?
or what hasn't worked for them, I guess,
The flu.
since they weren't even able to get a single stop at some point in time.
5, 4, 3,
Really looking for Tommy here to
1.
put a lot more pressure into the back line with Sanemi on this Widow. It kind of forces them to play a lot slower than you would want to. But I think they do hold an advantage when it comes down to like these sort of brawl situations on the cart. I guess Tracer has a lot more to do than the Genji, and oh, it was again a nice anti, a very nice look from the side of the Purple Apes. The difference between the way that they play the first point though is Firecard on the Tracer is able to get a lot of big value. The only issue is he's gonna get caught out here and punished. Ooh, that is not what you want to see. And this is exactly what I said the Seadragons should be doing, like keeping this aggression up. Like they're pushing basically to spawn to go punish Sanemi, and Sanemi is putting in the work from these positions, but it is the Seadragons who are really making it hard for him to fight back. And Sanemi looks for angles. Firecarder is going to be the one to be punished. Granted, it gives Sanemi the high ground position to profit with, but the picks are already going to be there, and now Sanemi just forced back off of the map into his and the rest of the demise of the Purple Apes. And at this point, the defense sort of looking impenetrable for the Sydney Seadragons. They have angles on all sides, and Sanemi forced to switch over to the Echo. I do think this will work a little bit better for what they're trying to do, because you can't really breach the double shields from the Winston and the Brig. This gives Tanikby sort of another target he has to worry about in the sky that only he can kind of deal with. Sonic's not going to get that much value onto Sanemi, but Tanikby definitely does on that Echo. He's looking fine up here, but Panini managed to brawl his way up onto high ground. It's going to be a duplication, though, from Tanikby. Gets a double punishment on the support line with the help of Melon. And again, Firecarder is doing exactly what he should be in these situations. Keeping the progress on the cart, but not, I guess, coming to fruition in the fight wins. And I want to see the Purple Apes here really start outthinking and outplaying when it comes to the cart in the alt fight, because it feels like they're sort of getting out-skilled right now. Panini does manage to shut one down. Melon is forced to use that Primal Rage in the backline. It's actually going to juggle Mardox to his demise. Panini invests the rally in, but it might be into a losing fight here as now both supports have gone down. Sanemi gets the trade back though. Now Tanikby coming back to the point. It's going to be an all DPS and tank affair. Lots of damage as Silvertalls goes down there. It's a question of, does anyone have the sustainability that they need to win in these fights? Sonicronic gets an anti-hit onto him that's going to force back the rest of their team. Now this is going to be a battle that's decided by these Nanos and Sanemi, who's finally built up to his first ult of the attack, the duplication. If I was Sanemi here, I know, I do want to support for the greatest sustainability on the backline, but instead going for the monkey, going for the double dive on the backline, double bubble. A little bit of Overwatch 1 action here as both Tommy and Sanemi try to collapse onto this background, but a Nano has already been invested in, and it's going to be trades on either side. There's a question of when Tommy and Sanemi get back, what are they going to be able to do? And I don't know if they're going to be able to do enough, because Tommy goes down, Sanemi gets sliced and diced. And it's a question of, is there even a touch to this point? There will be one. Firecarder doing his best to fight forward. Panini's going to be thrown into the ringer, forced to touch, fires on and off, back and forth. But a valiant effort for the Purple Apes. Not enough, though, as the Seadragons pick up their second map and are bordering on map point here. Now, as the Seadragons hitting a score of 2, you gotta start worrying if you're the Purple Apes. You didn't find a solution on this Malgamir. You didn't find a solution on the dive. So what can you find a solution on? That's gonna be the question for when we come back. I'll see y'all in a bit.
Brigitte, did you check if you brought enough repair packs for everyone?
And welcome
I'm
back,
not a little girl
everybody,
You'll always
to
be my
the
little girl.
You're
Sydney
embarrassing me.
Seadragons versus the Purple Apes. And as of right now, it looks like the Purple Apes, you know, they're,
4, 3,
when you spend all your options, when you try everything, might as well pull out the Torbjorn, right? Like, doesn't hurt to, at least. Never seen it fail. Also never seen it, but we'll have to see how it works out. Looks like they're opting for a bit different strategy. They want to be able to play this range with Firecarter on the Echo and Sanemi on the Torbjorn. This angle is very nice, and the damage that Torbjorn can do on something with such a big hitbox like Malga, you can already see an early advantage, but once that turret falls down, it's a question of, are they going to be able to keep this same pressure down? But something like a Torbjorn is going to sort of do wonders when it comes to fending off the people you need to fend off, like Corey. Nice little explosion of damage there. Stress down Corey, but Tommy Slat really has to worry about himself in these fights, in these affairs. Right now you have Firecarter looking for an angle. You got very close to his ultimate there, but gets shut down early into the fight. And now Melon looking for an engage in. Tommy Slat also going for that slam in and through. And Sonic Chronic's actually gonna be the one that cleans up on the back line. So even though it was early, you know, fight win for the Purple Apes, the Sydney Seadragons turn that right around. And if you're just joining us, this scoreline sort of says it all. 2 for the Sydney Seadragons, 0 for the Purple Apes. They've been hitting a wall throughout this entire match. And they really need to find some way to fight back into it. And looking at these ult percentage, Silvertall's already has his orbital ray online. Really excited to see how he's going to use this one, and it's exactly the way that we expected. Massive explosion, taking out Mardox first. And that big damage is going to do wonders. Punishing the backline, punishing everybody that they need to, and not a single kill to the Purple Apes' name. It's even a question of, can they contest with 75 left? Usually on Control that's enough, but on Flashpoint, I don't know if they're going to be able to get back in time to even give this one a shot. But actually I think they will be here. One more attempt on the point. You got 44%. Might as well try for all of it. And a nice counter stun. Oh, forces Firecarter to be the one to touch. Mardox comes in with the orbital ray, and that's what they need to happen. But it's a combination ult, DPS and support, the cage fight, the Blossom and the Dragon Blade, stacking it all on this fight win. And the Sydney Seadragons are gonna come up with it and also gain a, I guess, advantage when it comes to this next point. And Firecarter trying to equalize a bit, but not able to find anything, unfortunately. It's a quick rotation out from Tommy's side. He's the only one with an ult. Needs to find magic, and this is the time he wants to use it. Everybody on the Sydney Seadragons are grouped up. I would not be surprised to see a 4-person cage fight right here, right now. Jumps in, drops it down, catches. Actually, I think he only got one there. And Melon gets traded out. This is not what you're looking for if you're Tommy. And even though he does manage to punish Sonic and get the point, he is not long for this world. Firecarter manages to trade back out on with some nice stickies landed. But it's ult upon ult. Duplication onto the Brig. For the damage from Silvertall's and that orbital ray you talked about. Ults that can win a battle and ults that can win a war, and Silvertall's is definitely winning wars with his ult usage right now. Forcing Firecarter to really back up, really reconsider how he wants to fight back into this. Another neutral fight coming out here. And nice stickies landed, but Tommy Slat just immediately punished through that. Despite the amount of damage they can do, the focus fire, it just isn't there. And the Purple Apes, they're just falling apart at the seams. It's all coming to a close right now, it feels like. And it's the story we've seen all game. They're winning these points, but they're losing the overall fights. A messy situation getting what feels like even worse by the moment. as Corey has his ultimate on the cards. I would not be surprised if he looks to combo with Melon, or Melon and Sonic Chronic together. The TP being lined up into the back line. It's perfect. The pressure's there. The question is, are the ult's going to be there? And that's exactly where they are going to be. But it's going to be a response. Both Reaper ults dropped into the fight, and Panini's actually going to manage to find one, but it gets traded out. And now without support, what can the side of the Purple Apes do? Feels like maybe enough here. As Silver Charles gets traded out, okay. It's a very winnable situation. Is Seikana really going over onto the... I don't know. We got the break. We got the break. We're good. We're good. We're back to cooking. And now we're entering a fight that is really going to be decided by, I think, a dynamic that we've seen a lot. Tommy Slat versus Silver Charles. Can Silver Charles really sustain the team with the rally, or is Tommy Slat, you know, all gonna do a lot more? Tommy Slat immediately drops in, and he's gonna do so much damage with that. Silver Charles is gonna use the orbital ray, but it fades away, and not even a contest, which means that the Purple Apes are kind of gonna gain themselves an advantage for. And that's the first time this map. It feels like the first time this series. It's kind of a mess right now for them, I'm not gonna lie. And they're gonna look to push the aggression here when they have the point in their favor. The question of, will that be an overextension? Panini definitely looks overextended right now. You cannot do that into a Genji. Sonic Chronic's just putting on a masterclass right now. And Mardox, it's just so unfortunate. Trying to keep the team alive through the damage, but can't even keep themselves alive. As the Sydney Seadragons do take first command, first control of this point. No ultimates used for either team here. It's just a question of, will the Sydney Seadragons read this rotation and be able to intercept it along the way? You can see Melon already looking for his or their own ultimate, and the duplication comes in from Firecarter here. Double slam comes out. And Melon's gonna drop in a cage fight of his own, and Corey comboing, and it feels like every time this duo lights up the kill feed, it is just wins for the Sydney Seadragons here. If I'm Purple Apes, I mean, you can test this point, obviously, but it feels almost unwinnable at this point in time. If you invest the rally, if you invest the cage fight into this, it might spell disaster. You really want to bait out this Dragon Blade from Sonic Chronic if you're the Purple Apes right now. If they can get that out, they've set themselves up in a very good position with a nice alt rotation. Orbital comes in from Silver Charles, and Panini's gonna respond back in turn. Sonic Chronic finding yet another kill in the feed. This man has been on fire today, and you can see exactly why. The backline pressure is just left completely unanswered. And even though the point flips, Seadragons are gonna be taking at least this one home, getting a 2-1 flashpoint lead and setting themselves up in a good spot. A 1-for-1 support alt change. It just benefits the team that's winning already. One advantage for the Purple Apes here is they're going to be able to get this point contest first. It is going to be ult for ult, and if Tommy Sly can manage to catch Sonic Chronic in the blade, in the ult of his own, the cage fight, that could be massive. And Sonic Chronic being so careful, waiting to line this one up just right here. Tommy Slat's gonna explode inwards. Sonic Chronic has to be so aware of the space again. No, he goes down! Caught early in the fight. I don't know if that was just a disconnect from the side of the Sydney Seadragons or what, because it felt like the DPS wanted to go in, and the supports and tanks wanted none of that. Now a chase down comes out. I love this. Even though they're losing in flashpoints right now, you want to show that confident. You want to be able to keep the Sydney Seadragons in their spawn as much as possible. And best way to do that is really fight back here. Now we get to the point where Sonicronic's been holding on to this blade for a while. A lot of ults he can really combo this with. The rally, extra HP. Silver Talls potentially be able to build the ultimate. So it's gonna come out onto the back line. A dash and a slash. Many, many more as Mardox gets found in the fray. Tommy Slack goes down as well. Fire Carter not long for this world as the Sydney Seadragons are going to take over, but Purple Apes definitely keeping this affair extraordinarily close with a couple big ults coming up on the cards. Mardox has been able to call these orbital rays extraordinarily well throughout the entirety of the season, and they caught Corey a bit early, doing a great job of forcing out that cooldown, and now they want to go. They have this cooldown advantage. They've forced out both of them from Corey. An ult on that high ground. Nice position for it. Mardox just going to try to drop the orbital ray on point, so they need to deal with Corey in these situations. He just goes so unpunished, gets away with one of the most dangerous ults on the point. And this time there's no flip for the side of the Purple Apes. The point just keeps on ticking and ticking. And the only good news is the Purple Apes have the only ult on the cards right now and can fight back with this one. But if they do not disrupt the high ground that the Sydney Seadragons are so cleverly placed themselves on, it might spell disaster. It might spell game, tournament, and life over. Panini invests in the rally, but needs to care for his own life in this situation. Getting great value out of that shield, and a bash comes in for it. Now Sanemi exposed with the damage and the kills in the feed. But Mardox is gonna fall early. Panini has to be so careful in this fight. The Silvertall is still up. That's a lot of healing possibility. But no, gonna get punished out. And ladies and gentlemen, we are gonna be going to the 5th and final flashpoint. This has gone blow for blow, bout for bout. And if you let the Purple Apes get momentum right now, it could spell disaster. They want to get into this fight. They want to get a map on the board. And they want to put up a big fight here. If they realize the disconnect, Silvertall is very split off the rest of the team right now. Now managing to group back up when we have a ton of ults coming up here. Tommy Slat definitely wants to use one of his own. Good combo with Sanemi here. The Death Blossoms have been massive throughout the tournament, but Tommy goes down early. Sanemi might not even want to use his ult, as the rally from Seikuna is going to be the decider, the game changer. The supports have all the damage in this fight. And the Sydney Seadragons are looking to close it out right here, right now. Now for Purple Apes, got this, in my opinion, some of the best ultimate combos in the game right now. Mardox coming up, one of his own. Tommy Slat definitely wants to look to drop down that cage fight. That's exactly what he's gonna do. Catching targets left and right and getting the spacing for his team on point. A quick flip comes over yet again. But Corey left unpunished again with that Death Blossom. I don't know how he keeps getting away with that. It feels like it should be accounted for. I mean, the same way it feels like the Sydney Seadragons should be accounting for these like mid-fight point flips that the Purple Apes keep on trying getting from them, but I don't know, in these fights, it just feels like Corey needs to be marked a bit more. He's just so elusive, so clever on the character. And now entering last fight territory, some nice stickies hit up onto Melon. Melon taking the zone miss with a cage fight of his own. The duplication comes in, as well as a Death Blossom from the side of Sanemi. Both DPS on either side traded out, but the kill feed is lighting up in favor of the Sydney Seadragons. They could close it out right here, right now, and that they will. A 3-0 series, one we expect it to be the closest, but the Sydney Seadragons are going to be able to take this one home. And now, if I had a co-caster, I'd be like, who would our match MVP be? I don't know. Usually I'm not the one that decides this stuff, chat. Yeah. But very dominant run for the Apes. Unfortunately, is going to come to an end a lot sooner than a lot sooner than they expected, unfortunately. And now I gotta start looking for a match MVP. I don't know. All these people did good in my opinion. I have reason to shout out every single one of them. Even Tanic be my GOAT, bro. He doesn't get enough credit. We need that best bench award come back, bro. Tanic B would be a great pull for that. But after much debate with no one, I'm going to give the match MVP to I'll give it to Sonic Chronic. I like the guy. He's kind of cool. Sonic Chronic MVP. Come talk to me. Oh, that rhymes. Oh, wait. I'm saying some bars. I'm saying some bars in chat right now. That's crazy. Anyways, hopefully Sonic Chronic joins me or something. Or die. Or oh my gosh, it's Sonic Chronic. No way. What is up? Ari for Rookie of the Year. Panini for Admin, the GOAT.
Yeah.
Also, I just realized that I'm not gonna lie. I may have been calling Ari Seikana the entire time because their name is Seikana. I won't lie.
No. Well,
That's crazy.
you were just not saying the other part because you didn't want to.
I mean, well, it doesn't sound like Ari. Like,
Yeah.
what am I supposed to do? That's my thing. Anyways, congratulations, 3-0 against the Purple Apes. Did you expect it?
I mean, we beat them earlier in the season, so I was confident that we could beat them again going into the match.
Yeah, and I know you guys have been scrimming a lot lately. I guess talk to me a little bit about. And I know you knew you were going to be running at least a bit of Malga versus Malga. Talk to me a little bit about how that practice helped you win as a team today.
I mean, I think it works really good because Melon is good at the Malga, and I've been picking up the Genji, and I really like playing Genji. So I feel like this meta plays to our strengths, and I think we practiced this comp even before it was meta in a scrim against the Quails, and it was pretty good. So when we saw the patch, we were like, yeah, it's Malga time, and yeah, I mean we looked good on it in every single scrim we've done since. So
yeah, I definitely agree you guys look good on it. And now talk to me a little bit because I think the interesting thing I pointed out, I know that the Pro League is a lot of Reaper and Echo. What do you feel like the Genji provides that the Reaper and Echo combination doesn't do? And I know you guys do play a lot of Echo and Reaper too. Just pointing that out, but you looked prolific on the Genji today, is what I'm thinking.
I mean, it's partially a comfort pick thing because I've been playing a lot of Genji. I got 15 hours on Genji in comp this season. So it's that, but also let's say Melon hits a big slam on a Brig, for example. I just get a free reset if I just dash on the Brig. And that mini dive is I think really good.
Yeah, for sure. And I noticed during a lot of the fights, you guys actually opted to give up the point, let it flip over to the Purple Apes. I've noticed that on all 3 points or all 3 maps in my opinion. Talk to me a little bit about that. Was that strategy or is that just Freudian slip, you know?
I mean, it wasn't. I mean, to be honest, we shouldn't have been letting them cap it. If you looked at the scoreboard going into last point, they had we had double the elims on every single one of us. So I don't know, they were kind of just getting free percentage, it seemed like, and we were just giving them it. So
okay,
it was not intentional.
Yeah,
I'll tell you that. But I mean, I guess we were winning the fights. I mean, we lost those 2 points, but it's whatever.
Yeah, and you did win a lot of the fights very strong. It felt like the only map for me that was close was that Suravasa map, but you guys did manage to close it out, take a 3-0 victory over the Purple Apes. Now, talk to me a little bit about coming up in the next round of playoffs. You guys are going to be going against the Roosters, I believe. What do you think about that matchup? Do you favor your team? They are the 1 seed, so I'm okay with any answer here.
I mean, I'll say we beat them before, we can beat them again.
I like that mentality.
I have confidence in my. I mean, we went on after we lost to the Bobcats. I think we went on kind of a crazy run, and so we were kind of channeling that again after losing to the the Owls last week of the season. So we're gonna go on a run, and yeah, I think it's gonna be a fun match.
Yeah, that is great to hear. I'm very excited for it. I don't know if I'm going to be cast prod, whatever, but I'll definitely be tuned in for that matchup. Now, before I let you go, Sonic, obviously you were the match MVP, but who on your team would you give match MVP to if it was not you?
Um, I feel like with this Mauga meta, Melon has like really performed, or on the Mauga in scrims and match today. So I would say I have to go with Melon for that.
Yeah, I mean, you know me. I love that pull. Melon the goat. Melon my goat.
Yeah,
They already got the match MVP 2 times though, so I can't give it to him that much, you know? That's all I gotta
yeah.
say. Anyways, well, thank you so much for chatting, Sonic. Congratulations, and I look forward to seeing
Thank you.
you battle it against the um, Roosters later in the week, month, year, whenever it comes up.
Yep. Me too.
Alrighty, I'll let you go back to your team. Bye bye.
Thank you.
All right, everybody. I don't know. Somebody won the match. It was the Seadragons. I don't know why it's popping up. Panini expected me to be able to run this prod, but I also expected Panini to take a map away from that team. So I feel like there's betrayal on both sides here, but hopefully you're at least thoroughly entertained by this matchup, and we will see you next time on Aurora Esports. Bye bye. And also Panini, if you watch this, you the GOAT. Even though you guys lost, you still the GOAT. How do I close stream? Oh, like this. Bye.